What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Para or Normal. Tonight is the Saturday before Halloween, so we decided to do a Halloween episode for everyone. We have returned to All Saints Cemetery in Pawleys Island. It's a place we've been to many times before, but it just fits the Halloween theme. We've always found really cool stuff here. We've gotten lots of evidence here before, and we figured it was a good time to come back and check the place out again. So we're going to get into it, and hopefully we find something pretty cool. Stick around. So we never really get to show anybody what we see and what we mean by how cool this place is. So I just wanted to give people a kind of a brief walkthrough. We're not going to walk through the entire cemetery, so if you want to follow me along, follow with me. I don't know, follow me along. It's getting late, man.
Yeah.
But
It's at that
anyways,
hour.
this is what we mean when we say like this is a cemetery like made for horror movies. That's why we really wanted to go to this place. Right before Halloween to hit it up again. We figured it'd be better. I mean, right when we walked in this place tonight, and it's kind of happened the last few times we were here, there were, immediately like bats flying through here and stuff. There was like a thick, like little mist, coming in. I mean, it's literally what we always say. This is made for horror movies. And again, it's one of those rare cemeteries that we've been to that has this giant tourist draw. I mean, just tonight we had, 3 different groups of people come out here. And obviously the big draw here is Alice's grave, which is over in this direction. In fact, nope, right there, yeah. This area right here is Alice's grave, and this is the big draw. And we don't really get any activity over here, which is kind of strange. But we'll walk you over here. This is kind of like a gated area over there. Again, you got the Spanish mosses in full effect. But this area we're going to walk to next, this is where we start every investigation, and it seems to be like where we get the most activity. I don't know what it is about this area that like really draws everything in, but it's kind of crazy how, again, we start every investigation right here, and this is just where it seems to pop off. That down there is like the newer area of the cemetery. I know it's kind of hard to get a shot of that. But over here, this is I feel like it's probably part of the oldest part of this cemetery. We usually try to do something over here. We'll do a spirit box session, or we'll do some stuff with the REM pod. But as you can see, I mean, it's just a really cool, just really old piece of this place. And again, a lot of history. I know that's it's not everything in the cemetery, and it's not a lot, but as always, we just wanted to, we never give everybody like a glimpse of what we're looking at when we walk through here. I mean, again, I know that was a short little trip, but it's really not that big of a cemetery, which is probably one of the reasons we like it. But it is old, a lot of history here. The church itself that's right across the street has got a lot of history as well. There's actually an older chapel right behind the newer church that sits right there. But yeah, I mean, again, whenever you think of a cemetery near Halloween, I mean, this is the spot. And as we had with all the visitors out here, kind of helps prove that point. But anyways, that does it for the 10-cent tour. Again, I just wanted to give everybody at home watching a glimpse of what we see when we walk through here, because I know it's difficult to get an idea of what we're looking at when we're here. So there you go. So we're ramping up to do our first spirit box session, and we set out the REM pods. And this particular REM pod right here is already getting fluctuations. Again, not sure what's causing it. There's nothing on the spirit box. There's no insects around because it's a fairly cool evening. So we're trying to figure out what it is about this spot that it likes. There's no power lines. Or any other like electronic equipment that would be causing this. And we were testing it earlier, and whatever it is has to be fairly close.
Yeah, because you have to be almost on top of it for
Yeah.
it to register that.
I get a zoom in on that thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Of course, I stopped filming and then it does it more.
That's all right, I got it. Huh.
It's always one of them that they really like. It'll switch up, you notice that?
Yeah. Well, Kenny, I think you should use this momentum. If you want to walk over here so we can get that in the background,
Yeah.
and I'll keep an eye on the one behind us, and we'll use this to roll right into the first spirit box.
Yeah. So that'll work.
If you want to roll over there, because I
Yep.
want to see if you can get something to speak to us that's already pretty close there.
Me? Was that a me? Is there somebody that's with us right now? Have you been with us this whole time?
No?
That's weird. I thought I heard like it's me. Can you say Kenny? No. That was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Something in the background. I don't know what that was. Is this a woman?
What did it say?
It said this is Lynn. Was that? I couldn't tell what that was. Radio or if that was. Did you say Lynn? Yeah, that. I don't know. That was kind of like there was a few things that came across, a few things that were really weird, but it didn't really seem like enough to confirm that something was there.
I was picking stuff up, but man, at this point it was really hard to tell if it was radio
Yeah.
or if it was, you know, actually something coming across it. So definitely something I'll have to go back in the evidence and look.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
one thing I think is interesting about this place, we always start out in the same location every time.
Every time.
Because it's central to the cemetery.
Yeah, it's kind of like
And
right
I
in the heart
noticed
of it.
that when we start, we immediately start getting stuff.
Yeah.
And then things like seem to die down over the evening.
Yep. It's like almost like we're, like when we come in, it's like I don't want to say a welcoming, it's just like more of a curiosity, like it wants to know right away. Now, I do know that, and we never got this on footage, and it's something I always think about because I really wish it had happened on film, for lack of better terms, but over there we had an incident where a flashlight had rolled off, and it's probably one of the craziest things that's ever happened in any of our investigations. So when we get over there, you know, we'll...
I heard it too, but I think it's somebody.
I can't, it's so weird because it sounds like it's really close by. But when we get over there, hopefully if this is still active, we'll be able to get that to interact with us again, because we even have an EVP, which we might be able to show you guys sometime when we can, you know, get around to maybe making like an episode that shows you some of the best evidence we've gotten. We've talked about doing that, where it sounded like it was trying to say flashlight, but it didn't understand the word, which would make sense for somebody buried here a long time ago. They wouldn't know what a flashlight is, but this area is very active a lot of times. So hopefully, you know, we'll keep moving along, and hopefully whatever was with us just now will, you know, stay with us and we can go from there.
Sounds good, man.
All right.
Cool. So we moved to another part of the cemetery where we've been to before. It's actually probably the most popular place in this cemetery. It's got its own tourist draw. If you've seen the previous video, we talked about it, so I'm not going to go too much into depth on it here. But this is the grave of Alice. Again, from all our research, we don't believe this is the Alice flag of this area's legend, but we do believe that this Alice was actually lost at sea during a hurricane. That's why you only see the first name on the grave. There's no last name. I kind of like this area. We've gotten some pretty good evidence back here before, so that's why we're going to start another spirit box session over here and see what we can get.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to start this off like we always do.
Hi.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hi.
Hi there.
So yeah, we're going to start this off like we always do. A little differently though. So we were just over on another side of the cemetery, and it looks like we got something's attention. If you're here with us, can you say something into this box?
No.
Sound like noise. If there is anybody here with us, that would like to speak or has something to say? Can you tell us your name?
What is?
That was weird.
That was weird. That said that was weird. You hear that?
What?
I can't even
What?
say that was weird because that's exactly what it fucking said.
That electronic freaking voice
Yeah.
thing came. That was weird.
Did you say that was weird? Are you copying us?
So again, if there's anybody over here that would like to say something to us, here's your chance.
Hey, ain't this that's weird.
What's that?
So Allard Berlin, that's the name of that cemetery, Berlin. Wasn't there a grave over there too of Allard
The Alice
Flag?
flags, yeah.
And Allard?
It may have been, yeah.
Yeah, it was Allard, I believe.
Must have been a popular
weird.
name back then. Probably knew each other. I don't know.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody with us, can you say one of our names back to us so we know who we're
Say.
talking to?
It said say.
Can you say Matt?
Yeah. It was kind of jumbled up. It was
It
just
was,
like the
it was a
last
lot
one.
jumbled up, and we were getting a lot of weird stuff right in the very beginning, like when we were near Alice's grave. But
Yeah.
it kind of seemed like the further we got away from it, it just kind of seemed jumbled up. But as we always say, and this time's no different, we'll go back, we'll look at the evidence, and see what we got.
Maybe we got something good. I guess
Cool,
we'll
bro.
find out. I guess that.
Is there something here with me? Can you walk to the other side of the box? Yeah, I know you like that side. Can you walk to the other side? Are you right by me? Dude, this thing's going ham. This thing's going ham.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, there's something about that one. It just. Shit falling off those trees too.
What's even crazier is that, and you're gonna see it on the video, I just watch it for a minute and then I ask it to get to, can you move to the other side? And it all just stops.
What? That's weird.
Yeah, look, 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 look. This thing is
Oh,
going
shit.
ape shit. Do me a favor.
You know, the other thing too is that it's picking up the temperature change,
Yeah.
which is not
Keep
normal
filming it.
because there's not really, you don't feel anything different right here.
Okay, it's not that.
Oh. Damn. What?
What has got this thing's attention? I'm gonna get close to it.
Yeah.
Make sure there's nothing else. Yeah, that's me. Dude, there's nothing else near it.
Huh. It's so weird, man. So we moved down kind of towards the back of the cemetery, where we were at when we first started, and you'll see to what we're talking about. There was something messing with the REM pod, and it had it just going off lights, you know, going off the sound, everything. And the only way that really happens is if something is over top of this thing, and you have to get right on top of this thing for it to sit there and go off like that. I can see it now, still doing it. So something over there in both boxes, because we thought maybe it was just the one box, maybe it was like a battery issue, something like that internal. And we tried out another box and it started to click and started to go off. So we moved that box to a spot nearby, started to do it again, which at that point confirms that something is messing with this. And even as I'm talking to you right now, down where we left it at, we have video recording it. It's still going off down there. I can see it down there just flashing away. So what we decided to do was have video record it. We were going to give it some space because it did start to kind of leave out like it was maybe not interested or we're just around it too much. So we decided to give it some space and let it set the boxes off so you guys can see too, and do a spirit box session down here and maybe attract something that might be in this area too.
What's really bizarre about what he was just explaining, we recorded that thing for almost 13 minutes and it kept going off.
Yeah.
So we both started to think, okay, maybe the REM pod itself is malfunctioning. So we moved it to another location, grabbed the other one and moved it back. Nothing happened
Yep.
to the box that we replaced it with, but the box that was going crazy also didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So if, it stands to reason if the REM pod were malfunctioning, would continue to do it no matter
Yeah.
where we moved, and that wasn't the case
That was
either.
the thought, was that if it was just that box, it would still do that. And both of them started to chirp, and we moved the other one away. It stopped flashing as much, but it started chirping
Right.
as if something was still messing with it. And I can see now it's kind of stopped, but I can still see it going off over there. And it's not a little bit, because for me to see it from this distance, it's at least 100, 150 feet away. I wouldn't be able to just see a small movement in it. It had to be something that really sets it off. So something over there, since we got in here, has just really been going after that box, and apparently is very interested in what we're doing. So like I said, we're going to give it some space, come down here and do a spirit box session and see how that goes. So we'll go ahead and jump right into this. So if whatever was over there just a moment ago, if you followed us, can you say here? Are you with us right now? Tongue said, yeah. Do you like that box over there a lot? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there more than one? Or is it just one person? Really weird.
Some CNC music factor in there?
So if you were the one that was messing with that box over there, are you buried nearby that area? Yes? Did you say yes? Did you not want us to be over there? Or were you trying to get our attention? Were you, what the hell was that?
I
You
just
heard
heard
that?
hype.
Yeah. Were you, man, that kind of like threw me off. I didn't know what the hell that said. Were you near us over by Alice's grave? Is this a woman? No. Is it a man? it seemed like whatever it was, there was some weird stuff coming across. I couldn't really understand what it said, but it did sound like we had something telling us to go away, uh, to leave or something like that.
No, that came across clear. In fact, it repeated itself.
Yeah, it
That's why I
said,
was kind of
yeah,
hoping we could pick up that thread and kind of work with it, but then it just kind of,
it just bailed. It was kind of odd. I don't know, man. Like there's, I think over here, whatever that might have been was just, if that was something talking to us, was basically like, get out of this area. You know, we
right.
came over and randomly just kind of came over and ambushed the area, so they're probably like, whatever, get away. But that REM pod, I've watched that thing just going off, like blinking. It didn't do as much flashing, you know, but
Yeah.
I've been watching it just blink. And so something over there has been very interesting in whatever that is. And hopefully while it's over there recording, we got some audio too. That would definitely be great.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and
Yeah.
check out a different area, let that kind of keep doing its thing, and then go from there.
Sounds good, brother. All right, so we've moved to another corner of the cemetery where we've actually been before. The first time we were ever investigating here, we had an incident happen in this same area we're standing in now. So we're hoping we can kind of recapture some of that. Long story short, we had laid our gear down because we were kind of splitting up to do separate things, some EVP, things like that. And I had a flashlight sitting on top of my bag. The one of the guys that used to investigate with us immediately was like, "Hey, did you guys hear something roll?" And nobody really heard it. We came back over and my flashlight was off of my bag. Now, yes, it could have just naturally rolled off, but it was still a pretty odd occurrence. What made it weirder was that Kenny caught some EVP later that night, and it sounded like two voices coming across trying to say the word flashlight, like they were amused by it or whatever the case may be. So we're back here now. I've got the REM pod behind me. I've got another REM pod over there. We've been having some weird stuff go on with the REM pods tonight. So we'll see if we can get any of that to continue, and we'll get into another spirit box.
Yep.
So as always, is there anybody near us that wants to speak? Can you tell us your name?
It's Dave. Did it say turn the camera off?
Did you just tell us to turn the camera off?
That's exactly what it sounded like.
What about green? Can you say green back to me?
Green.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I started to say, maybe they find that insulting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you tell us colors?
They're like, this is my favorite.
I love this. Let's tell colors to each other. What? I don't know.
Can you say white?
Dude, this is one of those frustrating points.
Yeah, we're nothings.
Well, the only downside to coming to this cemetery this close to Halloween is that it's a popular cemetery,
Yeah.
and we've already had some guests out here tonight. And again, we don't own the place, obviously, so we gave them time to do what they needed to do. But I think it really does throw off the investigation
Yeah.
somewhat. You know what I mean?
I think it draws the attention and whatever energy they have to use to make themselves known or just even get away if they want to. It just seems like it drains it.
And I feel like no matter what, even if there were nobody out here besides us, I feel like this always happened at All Saints. It's like that weird.
Yeah. It's like a spot where it just slows down.
Well, it always seems like it pops off immediately. Like
Yeah.
things just start happening because and then the longer you're out here, I don't know if they get, if something
Yeah.
gets used to you or it just seems to like just completely trail off.
That's
So
for sure, yeah.
I think we're going to move on here. There's another spot we've already kind of dialed into that we're going to check out. Kenny actually has, as you've seen, he's purchased a new spirit box, kind of a different model and design. And we're going to post up. It's similar to the long range spirit box session that we do, but this time we're both going to run our spirit boxes. It's probably going to sound a little confusing, but it's to see if we can pick up maybe some of the similarities through both spirit boxes. So I think we're going to go dig into that and we'll see what we get.
Yep, sounds good.
Yep.
Is there somebody that's been following us tonight? You say me?
Is there somebody nearby that wants to speak?
Okay, so is there somebody that's been following us around tonight?
If there's somebody nearby that wants to communicate, can you say my name back to me? Can you say Matt?
Did you say no? So, who is it? Who's next to me? Tell me your name.
Are we a nuisance here? Or do you want us to stay? Do you like that we're here?
I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off. Can you say goodbye? Can you say bye?
Okay, and that's how this goes. We've never attempted something like this, so it'll be interesting to see what Kenny got as well. But again, this place is funny like that. We've investigated this place a number of times, and like we've said before, it seems that when we get here, things start happening, and the longer we stay, the less things start, occurring or any activity. So, who knows? We'll have to look at the video later and see what Kenny pulled up. Maybe we got some similarities on both the spirit boxes. Who knows? So yeah, we'll look into that. I think we're going to try to find another area before we close this night out, and yeah, we'll see what's what. All right, so that does it for another investigation for us. Again, always a pleasure to come back to All Saints. It's a cemetery that we really enjoy, and something weird always happens to us when we come here. So yeah, that does it for this episode, and it was a good investigation. Can't wait to get back into the evidence to see what's what as always, and as always we'll do a recap to kind of show you anything that we caught after the fact. But we look forward to seeing everybody in the next investigation, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
All right, so that was All Saints,
Yep.
the Saturday before Halloween, and it was totally fitting. That's why we chose to go back to it. We've actually been to All Saints 3 times. We recorded video there once. The second time we just kind of went for just our own investigation, and we decided, since we hadn't been back in almost a year, we decided to do our kind of like Halloween episode there. And I'm actually really glad we did.
Yeah.
As you can see in the video, All Saints is like the Halloween cemetery. I mean, just the way it looks, the way it feels. So it was an easy choice when we wanted to do our little like Halloween special. That was the one we chose. And I gotta say, man, out of all the times we've been there, we have not gotten this much evidence. It was very, very active that night. That being said, we even had guests that kept interrupting the investigations. Again, we don't own the cemetery, and it's Halloween, so people want to go and do the traditional thing around Alice's grave and all that. And that did kind of throw off the beat of the investigation. But that aside, we still had an insane amount of evidence that night. And I think the big thing for us is the REM pod. We brought in REM pods there before and gotten nothing. Before the REM pods, we used to use these like motion activated puck lights, and we would get things every once in a while there, but nothing crazy. But
And it's hard to tell what exactly it is. Like those are a little bit more easier to like just look at it like, okay, a bug was
right, but the REM pods don't respond to like small insects and things like that.
Yep.
So it was something about that one spot, man. We had it between these 2 tombstones, and it just started going ape shit. I mean, you can see that in the video. I mean, it went on for almost 13 minutes.
Yeah, it was a while.
So, and I think we started to second guess it. Like, okay, this has never gone on this long. So we moved it. So we're like, okay, maybe the REM pod's malfunctioning, something like that. So we moved it to a completely different section. Didn't make a peep.
Yeah.
Moved it. I think we moved it back, and then we walked away. And then a little while later, it started
Yep.
doing its thing again. It was insane. Like, I don't know what it was about that one spot, but
Yeah.
it was crazy. And, we even had people there that were like just coming to visit that were like, what the hell? What is
Yeah.
going on with this thing? We were kind of talking to them about it. And,
That was probably the best part about it, was that even we were sitting there being like, we've never had it do this for that
no,
long.
man. Yeah,
And
to
it
have
went
somebody
off.
else witness that, dude. And again, I kept racking my brain. I was like, okay, surely something else is interfering with this. Something. I mean, obviously we're in a cemetery, so there's no buried like cables. There was no power lines
Yeah,
overhead.
we looked at everything.
So I thought, okay, maybe my night vision camera, and you would set your phone next to it to collect
Mm-hmm.
EVP. So we were like, okay, maybe that's what's setting it off. But I've got night vision footage of, you can clearly see his phone, and obviously my night vision camera is filming it. That box isn't doing anything.
No.
So we're like, okay, that rules that out. So again, it's for you, you at home to decide what you think it is. But yeah, I would definitely say it's activity.
Yeah, there was something, because we were over in that spot to start with, and we were standing next to it when we did the first spirit box, and I think it had like a couple of moments where it was doing a little, clicking noise, whatever. And then whenever we came back over to it was whenever it really stirred up. It was almost like something just kind of ended up walking through that area and then stayed there. It was bizarre, man. I've never seen it do that before.
We've used those quite a bit. I mean, almost every investigation we do, we use the REM pods, and never
And
have I seen
different
one behave
kinds
like
too.
that. Yeah, that was nuts, man.
Yeah.
And I think what made us a little excited was we had something happen, which you saw in the video, that kind of corroborated all of that. So Kenny's actually the one that figured it out before I did. So obviously, when we're done, we go back through all the evidence. We go through all the video. We go through all the audio. We go through every single thermal, video that we have. Which again, he had the thermal posted up where that REM pod was, and in the thermal video, you're looking at those two tombstones, and there's like a vague blue blur in between them. That's the REM pod. Well, in the little clip that we showed you, you see this kind of like mist, and it registers as heat on the video. It kind of floats in and then moves back out. And I showed it to Kenny, and Kenny, I'll let you give everybody your take on it because I agree.
Yeah.
So
So when I first looked at it, I noticed that the form of it, if you look at the way it kind of shapes, because at first I was thinking, I thought maybe like a light had hit the camera lens, but there's nothing there that would have caused that. We're far away. We went, a good like, 50, 60 yards away to let it do its own thing. But the way it looked to me was almost as if something was walking by and had leaned down. Of course, not a full body visual of it, but like a leg, maybe a knee, like it was walking by, leaned down to look over at whatever was, maybe the camera or something nearby it, and then just kept walking. And if you notice it, it even comes in a frame like that. It just kind of makes its way in and then it goes. And I've never seen anything like that on any thermal video. I always have some kind of thing that I can at least explain what it might be as far as not being paranormal, but I've never seen anything like that before.
no, no. In fact, once you told me what you had gotten from it, because I couldn't make it out.
Yeah.
I went back and I watched it, and I watched it, and I watched it, and maybe it is like we always say, my brain just kind of filled in what I wanted to see. But no, I mean, once you said it, if you watch the video, and we invite you to go back and check it out again, it looks like somebody in profile. So you're looking from like the shoulder down, walks in, and then bends down to look at that REM pod or mess with it or try to interact with it. I don't know. And then it just completely vanishes.
Yeah. It really had that kind of look where it would just, and it would make sense with what was going on, because it did feel like something was just kind of checking out whatever we were doing and then stayed there. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it was whatever the REM pod was picking up on. I've never seen anything like that before. My mind was blown from that.
That's the first time we've gotten anything like that on the thermal. And it kind of made me like rethink how we've been using the thermal, because they say, and we've kind of experienced a little bit of this during some investigations we've done, where they say that, if there's a spirit present or, ghost, what have you, that the temperature will drop. And we've kind of experienced things like that before. So what I've been looking for is something cold to register. And, obviously that's never happened. But, when you think about it from a scientific perspective, not that I'm this brainy scientist, but if you think about it,
speculation anyways.
Yeah.
Really,
But if something was pushing that hard to manifest itself, it would show up as heat because it's energy.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
the
mean?
way I see it, and that it would be drawing any kind of heat that it could, which would be from that phone or whatever is nearby that can put out any kind of heat. Because if you look at it, it's just small enough to where it has that look of like it couldn't get enough energy to fully manifest. That was what I thought was, it was almost like a part of it appeared as it went by. But that would make sense more than anything, is that the energy is the heat,
Yeah.
So that's that definitely makes sense to me.
No, and yeah, and that and I agree with you. So that was probably one of my favorite pieces of evidence from the evening. Now we're done with Kenny and Matt nerd time.
Yeah,
Actually, the scientific reason is the
Get
communications
our
with
like
the satellites.
pseudo-scientific
Yeah,
explanations.
we're scientists, but anyway, that's our take. Obviously, if anybody has a better explanation, I'm totally
Honestly,
open
I
to
would
it. But
definitely listen to anything.
yeah,
Because I'd like to know what that is. Even if it's not paranormal, I'd like to know exactly what it would be. Because
right.
I just could not explain it as anything else.
No, it was awesome. Again, one of my probably favorite pieces of evidence we've collected since we started doing this.
And it makes sense there because that place is always just, we'll have times where it just kind of like starts to slow down, nothing really happens. But when we first get to that place, it seems like it's always so active. And then as the night goes on, it's like, it almost seems like it gets used to us, and then it just gets bored of us, and then it kind of disappears from there.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about All Saints, and it's almost exclusive to All Saints. Is we've gone to a lot of cemeteries. Obviously, we've gone to a lot of cemeteries more than once.
Yep.
And All Saints is the only one that it seems like as soon as you get boots on ground, shit just keeps popping off. It's like boom, 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 boom. This is good. We're getting crazy shit on the spirit box. We're getting crap on the REM pod. We're getting all kinds of stuff. And then it's like the longer you're there, it's just kind of like
Yeah.
and then it just completely trails off.
Yeah.
And we don't really get that kind of pattern anywhere else we've been.
No, it's really that place. Besides the first time we went there, it was pretty much all night. It was weird stuff happening, but that was also when we were really new to it. So
Yeah.
we were more, reactive to everything, and so it could
Yeah.
have been that. But
And the cat showed up.
yeah,
The
then the
first
cat.
night,
Yep,
that random ass cat
that
showed up.
that night was probably that was my favorite, investigation that we've ever done because it just seemed so consistent.
Yeah.
And it was new, so it was more exciting in a way, because we'd never experienced anything like that. But that place is definitely different than the other cemeteries.
Right.
It has its own aura.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So yeah, obviously, we got some interesting things on the spirit box sessions. Kenny's got the new spirit box, which is helpful, to have too. And that's where he came up with the idea, which you saw near the end of the video, where he decided that, hey, we both got spirit boxes. They're different kinds. So let's see if we can go to different, parts of the cemetery and get something similar. So obviously we tried that experiment, and what you see in the video is kind of like a shortened version of that, but it actually wound up paying dividends. So obviously we both listened to the audio separately and both kind of pulled out what we found, and the only consistency that we got is that female voice. It seems like some female voice, and it seems to be the same female voice, is just definitely trying to communicate to us. I mean, I think at one point, you asked if something, if anybody was here,
Yeah.
and it replied me. I think I got a no from it for another thing, but the craziest thing to me, and you may have to go back and crank up the volume a little bit because I know it's probably hard to hear unless you're wearing headphones, but I say, are we being a nuisance? And it says very slowly, too many people. And this is right off the heels of like this group of teenagers that had walked
Yep.
in, kind of messing around, checking stuff out. And then there were people in there before that. So that was kind of cool because
Yeah.
it was really pointed. And again, it was the same.
And we were really kind of theorizing that once everything slowed down, that maybe it was because so many people kept coming in, because
Yeah.
the teenagers came in a little bit later in the night, and they were just being
teenagers,
teenagers,
they'd
so
be
they were
loud.
being
They were like,
loud
there's an old bell in there. They were ringing that.
yeah. So it
It's-
kind of makes sense that if something was being like, I don't know, like agitated, maybe like that would be the explanation, is that there's too many people in there, too much going on. But it was odd too because it briefly sounds like it says your name. I think just before or right after I'd asked something and then it says me, I think it was seconds later. It sounds like it says your name, but which would have been odd because I don't even think you even mentioned your name. In that part of that clip, you just were talking and then it said your name. But yeah, interesting little like experiment. I think it's something I'd like to do
No,
going forward.
yeah, do it again for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's helpful and it helps kind of corroborate that neither one of us are going crazy.
Right.
So,
That's the other thing too, that we're kind of picking up on the same thing.
but yeah, again, overall, probably one of my favorite investigations in a long time. Obviously, I enjoy everything, every place we go and investigate, but we've never had anything pop off like this did. And again, it was crazy to see how this one girl's grave is just this huge tourist attraction, and how we've been there several different times throughout the year, and almost every time we've been there, somebody's come in to look at that grave, and we always go by there and we investigate, and I don't think we've ever gotten anything over there. But again, that's what people go to do. They go to leave little trinkets on Alice's grave and do the walk around the grave at 13 times thing, and people were doing it that night.
We usually
so.
know as soon as they walk in, we know what they're going to do.
Yeah, we got asked. I got asked last time. We're like the unofficial tour guides for that
we
place.
really
They're
are.
like, you know where Alice's grave is? Like, yes, of course I do.
We could probably point out every single grave in that place. We've been there so many times. Just
Yeah.
even like checking it out. It's a really cool cemetery. Probably the best one I've ever been to.
No, it is cool. It's
interesting,
interesting how it's laid out.
Yeah.
There's obviously loads of history there. I just wish we had backstories on more of the people in there. We just don't.
Yeah.
But would definitely help with questions. But
Yeah.
But again, overall, definitely one of my favorite investigations in a long time. As always, I know I've said it probably 3 times already, but it is also subjective, as Kenny pointed out. So you watch it and you make the decision of whether you think it's paranormal or not. But I think for Kenny and I think that we're pretty much decided on we had some paranormal stuff happening.
Yeah, that one definitely for sure. I would be comfortable saying there was something there.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts or?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, it was pretty active, in that area, and it's about what I expect from All Saints.
Yeah.
It's an interesting place.
And we'll be there again. Who
Yeah,
knows when,
yeah.
but we will definitely go back. It's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
So without further ado, thank you as always to everybody that's currently following us and watching and supporting us. We greatly appreciate it, considering we literally come out of nowhere. And for those of you just kind of stopping by, hit the like and subscribe button. Because we're always putting out new content, and we're always got new places lined up to go check out. We got another place lined up to go check out now. So we will see everyone next time.
We'll see you then.